Hello and welcome to Access Community Television, shamelessly promoting our friends and community. My name is Sid Tan, and we have one of our favorite friends with us here today in the studio, Jim Wong Chu. Welcome to the show, Jim.
Thanks for having me, Sid.
It's so great to have you here. For those that are out there that don't know, Jim Wong Chu is a published poet, the co-editor of 4 anthologies of Chinese Canadian writing or Asian Canadian writing, among other things, as co-founder of the Asian Canadian Writers Workshop, Rice Paper Magazine, and also the Literasian Festival of Pacific Rim Asian Canadian Writing and Vancouver Asian Heritage Month. And my question is a very simple one, Jim. How do you find the time to do all this, and what inspires you to do it?
No inspiration there, Sid. I think a lot of it is just youthful indiscretion, things that you don't think about. But in those days, we were just a bunch of young guys sitting around, Sky Lee, Paul Yee, many of us, belly aching in Chinatown, sitting in the cafe and asking questions. What if? Why is it the way it is? What if? And of course, the question goes to why not? And then after a while, you realize that it's on you. If you don't make a stab at it, nothing will happen. So I think that's how we got started in all this stuff. We were none of the basic. I didn't even write those days. And it was during that time that we just literally learned everything from scratch. However, there's a saying. They say that, knowledge sets you free. So I tell you, that's not true, because knowledge actually enslaved you. Because as I got deeper into the history of the Chinese Canadians and so on, I realized what happened. And that it was all these, unkind legislations, racist kind of bylaws and stuff that created the circumstances where we were at. And I think that once you get angry, but the other thing is that you're forced to reckon with it. And if you're not happy with the reality you're in, you have to create a new reality. So that's what I did. I set on to creating a new reality.
And that's where the cultural engineering comes from.
That's right.
And you have been doing a remarkable job. I've known you for over 3 decades. I've known what you've done. And in terms of cultural engineering, what led you to this, I know, was photography. And you've gone a circuitous route to literature. And I'm just wondering, how did that come about? Why from photography to poetry, which is literature, and then on to literature?
Well, I think the journey itself is just simply a journey of self-discovery. I finished about grade 10. I never completed grade 11. And I wasn't certain that I could even write. And I think photography was the first thing that I felt I can grasp onto, because I used to work in a Chinese cafe, and photography and making prints and stuff is almost like cooking. So that's how I started using visual images. But then as you get more visual images and the more you want to say about what you've taken in that picture, the more I realized I need to write. So that's when I went into UBC and learned to write.
You got into it in a big way, and basically, amongst other things that you've been doing, you have just had a photography exhibit at Center Ray recently, which I attended. It was tremendous seeing all the writers and young people that are coming on. And I'm just wondering, what is in the foreground? What is coming up for you in terms of what you're going to be doing? I know that you just recently retired from your day job. What are you putting yourself into these days?
Well, we recently completed a project for the province of British Columbia. It's going to be a book on the Chinese in British Columbia. And it is a book that I think the tentative title is Go Mountain Dreams. But it is a book about the Chinese Canadian experience in British Columbia that is from the point of view of us, the Chinese that are involved with it. Because up to now, most of the books are usually about from a third person or an academic perspective. So that would be really unique. We are doing launching the latest anthology, which is called Alliteration, and it's the 20th anniversary of Rice Bear magazine, so we actually put together a compilation of the best of the 20 years of Rice Paper's writings that were in the magazine. So that will be probably launched in Asian Heritage Month this year.
Tell us about this iteration. Who are some of the authors that are in it from the long list of people that have written for Rice Paper?
It's everybody. Right? Everybody that's probably acknowledged. But the thing that's unique is that it's writing that they wrote specifically for the magazine, and it's probably never been seen outside of it. You have people like Evelyn Lau, Fred Wah, Sky Lee, Joey Kagawa, Terry Watara. There's numerous names, and a lot of names that people may not have known about, but we felt that they were treasures, so we include them in this edition. And
so you've been an observer and an active participant in Chinatown for a long time. I noticed that the young people now are starting getting involved. How do you feel about that? Very quickly, we have to go.
Well, I think the young people that are now is akin to the young people that we were back in the 70s. We were the young people. And I think these young people here, they're inspiring because the fact that they're coming down looking for their identity and also making a stand on issues that were very prevalent back in the 1970s, the freeway expropriation, and now it's gutting a Chinatown, redevelopment and so on. So I give them all the power.
Thank you for being with us today, Jim.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
You've been watching Access Community Television. My name is Sid Tan. We've been here with Jim Wong Chu. And until we meet again, straight shooting and tight edits. Coming up will be updates on the downtown east side and other neighbors on hot topics with Gennargio Sullivan and Guy Oustes on Access Community Television.